Please be seated. Good morning. My name is Bala Sundaram, and I'm the Vice Provost for Research and Dean of Graduate Studies. And it's my distinct privilege to recognize doctorate recipients, their faculty mentors, families, friends, the program peers and faculty in attendance, and welcome you all to the Doctoral hooding ceremony. This is a unique facet of the campus's week-long commencement exercises, intended to celebrate the completion of a very special degree. The apprenticeship character of reading for and earning a doctorate draws from traditions that predate structured educational institutions and disciplinary silos. A hooding ceremony such as today's draws from, has been dated to the 13th century, and even earlier, educational and ecclesiastical contexts are known where a present of a scarf or a shawl from mentor to mentee was the reward for completion of many years of study. In all cases, to earn this required running the gauntlet of some unique challenges, and completion and the completion marked the recognized entry into the world of research. The word research, these days at least, often carries with it lofty implications, but here what is intended is simply the ability to pose and answer a pertinent question or two from a perspective that's not found elsewhere, which I guess in these days means it's not found on Wikipedia. So for all the graduates here, by defending your theses, you've added to the archival literature, meaning that whatever contributions you have made, however profound or modest, could well be the missing piece or the motivation for the solution of problems and puzzles now or in the future. So as you come up here to celebrate with your faculty mentor, keep in mind that you're joining a very long and distinguished historical procession. Also, as recipients of any doctoral degree, you are now closer to or at the frontiers of your respective fields of study, at the end of at least one of the traditional tracks of your educational journeys. However, at the same time, what you've done by gaining this degree is you've willingly embraced the reality that you're students for life, wherever and however you may end up using your skills. And to emphasize this point, I'd like to conclude with these words of Socrates, who wrote that education is the kindling of a flame, not the filling of a vessel. I once again congratulate all the candidates, your advisors, and especially your supports, those people who urged you on when the end seemed just that little bit too far away. And I hope you all enjoy the morning's festivities. And now it's my pleasure to invite the Chief Academic Officer on campus, Interim Provost Emily Mcdermott, to share her thoughts on this occasion.
Good morning. I welcome you all to the 2019 hooding ceremony at the University of Massachusetts, Boston. You represent the candidates and the families and loved ones of the candidates for the 83 doctoral degrees the university will award this year. You have worked long and hard toward those degrees, and I am sure you are as pleased and proud to be sitting here today as your faculty are to be presiding over this event. You're the right. You are the highest level graduate students at UMass Boston. But what is a graduate student? On the face of it, it is someone who has already achieved a bachelor's degree and is now a student for a higher degree. Now, when I was graduate dean 15 years ago, my then 14-year-old son, Sam, found the very phrase graduate student an oxymoron, a contradiction, and a threatening one at that. That's because even probing to the furthest reaches of his 9th grade imagination, he could imagine no circumstances under which a sane person who had already graduated would voluntarily come back and be a student again. But all of you have taken that voluntary step, some in search of preparation for or advancement in your chosen profession, some on the path to careers as scholars and researchers, all in pursuit of further learning and knowledge. And now you're ready to graduate. Now, you may not hear the metaphor in the English word graduation, but it is there. Graduation comes from the Latin word gradior, which means to take a step. In fact, this is the same root as you find a little more camouflaged in the word degree. So you can have a graduated beaker in chemistry class or a graduated thermometer marked off in degrees, little steps along the way. Or metaphorically, you can graduate from a university by taking a step from one phase of your life into the next. So tomorrow you'll all be stepping up to the ultimate gradus or step, the doctoral step. During this hooding ceremony, we as your faculty will welcome you as our colleagues into the ranks of scholars, researchers, and professional practitioners with, as your diploma will assure you, all the rights, privileges, and dignities appertaining to that degree. These rights, privileges, and dignities may be as concrete as being allowed to sit for a licensure exam in your chosen profession, or qualifying to be hired into a particular job, or as nebulous as the prestige that may accrue to the most educated sector of our society. Your diploma does not add, but I will, that along with these rights, privileges, and dignities comes a grave responsibility. That responsibility is that wherever you step after leaving here, you must remember that you are of our fellowship. Some of you will formally join our ranks as educators, as doctors of your discipline. Others will teach only by example, but a life full of continued learning and contemplation lies before you all. Maintain the habits of mind your faculty have worked to develop in you: mental discrimination and courage, attention to the finest points of accuracy, fierce commitment to critical inquiry and investigation, and the humility to recognize the true wisdom lies in recognizing the limits of your wisdom and in ever striving to stretch those limits. Take these values with you as you step into the next phase of your lives, cherish them, and pass them on. Thank you. It's now my great pleasure to introduce Interim Chancellor Catherine Newman.
So the Vice Provost and the Provost are tall enough to see you without standing on a box, but your Interim Chancellor is too short for that, so I had to get my box underneath me. I am delighted to be here this morning and excited for all of you. I think all of us on this stage, as well as the faculty out in the audience, remember the same day in our lives. I recall very vividly being told that I would be depressed when I finished my dissertation because I'd worked on it for so long. And I just want you to know, I wasn't depressed even for a nanosecond. I still can't believe I finished that sucker. But it is a remarkable achievement that you have brought about through your extraordinary hard work and the support of your faculty, your family, your children, everybody who's been cheering you on. I'm going to have a lot more to say about your accomplishments at the main graduation ceremony. But last night, when I was thinking about this event, I thought, well, and I didn't know what Bala was going to say, I'm going to spend a little time learning about why we do this hooding ceremony and where this garb comes from and where these hoods come from. So I turned to my trusty internet sources, and here's what I found. The garb you're wearing, as Bala said, has its origins in the Middle Ages. The earliest mention of this kind of long gown is in 1321. And they were worn because the buildings that the scholars were working in were friggin' freezing. They were so cold. And of course, at that time, it was not unusual, we're not going to do this to you, but to have their heads shaved. so, as the clergy did. And so those hoods that you have were there to keep their heads warm until the era in which skull caps became more popular. The hood today is what we anthropologists would call a survival, by which we mean a practice or an item of clothing whose origins we no longer really know anymore. We certainly don't use it to keep ourselves warm. In England, in the second half of the 14th century, the statutes of certain colleges forbade excess in apparel, and that's where the gowns came from, to stop people from being elaborate in what they were wearing in a very individualistic sense. In the days of Henry VIII in England, Oxford and Cambridge first began prescribing a very definite kind of academic dress and made it a matter of university control, even to the extent of very minor details, which tells you something about how long bureaucracy has been part of the educational experience. The assignment of the colors that we wear, signifying certain faculties, came much later, especially here in the US. So starting in the 19th century, American universities that were sort of in the shadow of their European counterparts, or their betters as they thought of them, began assigning the color white to the arts and letters, referring and reflecting to the white fur trimming that Oxford and Cambridge bachelor's degree hoods had. Red, one of the traditional colors of the church, went to theology. Green, the color of medieval herbs, was adopted for medicine, and olive, because it was so close to green, was given to pharmacy. Golden yellow, standing for wealth, which scientific research has produced, was assigned to the sciences. Are you listening, scientists? That's your job. The hoods are supposed to be lined with the official color or colors of the college or university that gives the degree. And in the case of the doctoral students here today, the Doctor of Philosophy degree, the dark blue color, is used to represent the mastery of the discipline by learning and scholarship in any field that is attested to by the awarding of the degree you're about to receive. As you probably know, and as you're going to discover in just a moment, it's customary for doctoral advisors to put the hood over the shoulders of the candidates they have supported in a symbolic gesture of a kind of academic kinship. And that is a kinship that is going to last the rest of your lives. I am still giving advice on the phone, in letters, to students I had 30 years ago who are now full professors all over the place. This bond never ends, and there's a reason for that, because this is the closest intellectual relationship and it should last for the rest of your academic careers, which is why I want to thank the faculty for providing to you the support, the education, the knowledge, the reflection, and the emotional support that we all need in going through a difficult experience. So I'm going to ask the doctoral candidates now, please, to give a round of applause to your faculty. Richly, richly deserved. Before I get off the podium, though, I'm going to ask the families, the parents, the children, the siblings, the grandparents, everyone here who had a role in supporting these extraordinary doctoral candidates to stand and be recognized by them for all that you've done for them. For the families. You deserve our congratulations, our thanks, the support of the university for everything you've done to help your students. So now we have come to a very important part, the most important part of the ceremony, the conferral of the degrees to the doctoral candidates who are here this morning. Provost Mcdermott will now present the candidates for doctoral degrees.
Chancellor Newman, of the 83 doctoral students receiving their degrees, I have the honor to present to you the 70 candidates present today who have satisfied the requirements for the degree of Doctor of Education, Doctor of Philosophy, or Doctor of Nursing Practice, and who have been recommended for these degrees by the faculty and the deans of the College of Education and Human Development, the College of Liberal Arts, the College of Management, the College of Nursing and Health Sciences, the College of Science and Mathematics, the John W. McCormick Graduate School of Policy and Global Studies, and the School for the Environment. We will confer doctoral degrees by college. Following the recognition of our doctoral candidates, Chancellor Newman will confer the degrees. Colleges will be called in this order. All right, see, College of Education and Higher and Human Development is first. Would Chancellor Newman, Vice Provost and Dean of Graduate Studies Bala Sundaram, and Associate Vice Provost Maya Mangawang please step forward? Will Joseph Berger, Dean of the College of Education and Human Development, please come forward as the 13 doctoral candidates in your college receive their degrees? Will Caitlin Gould please come forward to be hooded by Professor Mel Collier-Meek? Will Shannon Mackenzie Peters please come forward to be hooded by Professor Lisa Cosgrove? Will Darcy Oriana please come forward to be hooded by Professor J.D.? Will Timothy Carrero please come forward to be hooded by Professor Sharon Horn? Will Avril DePogter please come forward to be hooded by Professor Patricia Kruger-Henney? Will Kimberly Fraser Booth please come forward to be hooded by Professor Patricia Kruger-Henney? Will Candace Sumner please come forward to be hooded by Professor Patricia Kruger-Henney? Will Lori Catalozzi please come forward to be hooded by Professor Tara Parker? Will Tammy Vargas Warner please come forward to be hooded by Professor Tara Parker? Will Samantha Broadhead please come forward to be hooded by Professor Melissa Pirro? Will Alexandria Victoria Shepard please come forward to be hooded by Professor Melissa Pirro? Will Janine Cook please come forward to be hooded by Professor John Saltmarsh? Will Bonnie Andrews please come forward to be hooded by Professor Stephen Vanoy? Will David Turkla, Dean of the College of Liberal Arts, please come forward as the 10 doctoral candidates in your college receive their degrees? Will Shirley Poyo please come forward to be hooded by Professor Alice Carter? Will Brianna Marie Mason please come forward to be hooded by Professor Tiffany Donaldson? Will Don Camelio please come forward to be hooded by Professor Stephanie Hartwell? Will Jacqueline Hargrove please come forward? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Will Julianne Siegfried please come forward to be hooded by Professor Stephanie Hartwell? Will Jacqueline Hargrove please come forward to be hooded by Professor Sarah Hayes Skelton? Will Carol Lee please come forward to be hooded by Professor Sarah Hayes Skelton? Will Max Wu please come forward to be hooded by Professor Heidi Levitt? Will Hannah Lapp please come forward to be hooded by Professor Celia Moore? Will Gabriel Mauricio Garza Sada please come forward to be hooded by Professor Jean Rhodes? Will Alyssa Hockman please come forward to be hooded by Professor Karen Tsuyamoto? Will Arundam Bandyopadhyay, Interim Dean of the College of Management, please come forward as the 3 doctoral candidates in your college receive their degrees? Will Rongbin Liu please come forward to be hooded by Professor Atreya Chakraborty? Will Li Gao please come forward to be hooded by Professor Jay Lee? Will Georgiana Melendez please come forward to be hooded by Professor Maureen Scully? Will Linda Thompson, Dean of the College of Nursing and Health Sciences, please come forward as the 17 doctoral candidates in your college receive their degrees? Will Megan Garvey please come forward to be hooded by Professor Sarah Kamhai? Will Lindis Ann Kulik please come forward to be hooded by Professor Jacqueline Fawcett? Will Georgina Gardner please come forward to be hooded by Professor Priscilla Gazarian? I take it back. Will Ashley Waddell please come forward to be hooded by Professor Jacqueline Fawcett? And now will Georgina Gardner please come forward to be hooded by Professor Priscilla Gazarian? Will Kari Von Camp please come forward to be hooded by Professor Jennifer Hackle? Will James Muchira please come forward to be hooded by Professor Laura Heyman? Will Jostha Matengezo please come forward to be hooded by Professor Hayok Lee? Will Karen Stockbridge please come forward to be hooded by Professor Jean Marston? Will Joylyn Sutton Arancevia please come forward to be hooded by Professor Jean Marston? Will Sherry Manguera please come forward to be hooded by Professor Joanne Mulready-Schick? Will Joan Shea please come forward to be hooded by Professor Beth Rowlands? Will Simon Manga please come forward to be hooded by Professor Ling Shi? Will Jonathan Padua please come forward to be hooded by Professor Ling Shi? Okay. Will Samporn Sithasongkram please come forward to be hooded by Professor Ling Shi? Will Mary Susan L. Howlett please come forward to be hooded by Professor Eileen Stewart Shore? Will Tanya Sullivan please come forward to be hooded by Professor Eileen Stewart Shore? Will Hira Marie Pantanosas please come forward to be hooded by Professor Eileen Stewart Shore? Will Elisa Ogawa please come forward to be hooded by Professor Tongjin Yu? Will Andrew Gosofsky, Dean of the College of Science and Mathematics, please come forward as the 11 doctoral candidates in your college receive their degrees? Will Maria Dimitra Kyprios please come forward to be hooded by Professor Michelle Foster? Will Arpita Joshi please come forward to be hooded by Professor Nurit Hospel? Will Go Do Hyung please come forward to be hooded by Professor Mark Pomplin? Will Megan McKinnon please come forward to be hooded by Professor Jonathan Rochford? Will Teng Wang please come forward to be hooded by Professor Bo Sheng? Will Paul Fomenki please come forward to be hooded by Professor Dan Simovici? Will Hua Kai-shun please come forward to be hooded by Professor Dan Simovici? Will Roman Sitsov please come forward to be hooded by Professor Dan Simovici? Will Hanin Barek please come forward to be hooded by Professor Manikam Sugamaran? Will Alex Muthengi please come forward to be hooded by Professor Wei Zhang? That's not Wei Zhang. The next one too? Will Zhao Feng Zhang please come forward to be hooded by Professor Hannah Savian? Will David Cash, Dean of the John W. McCormick Graduate School of Policy and Global Studies, please come forward as the 9 doctoral candidates in your college receive their degrees? Will Sai Huang Han please come forward to be hooded by Professor Jeff Burr? Will Han Zheng Li please come forward to be hooded by Professor Michael Johnson? Will Motope Oshikoya please come forward to be hooded by Professor Darren Q. Will Lisa Beauregard please come forward to be hooded by Professor Edward Miller? Will Deborah McPhee please come forward to be hooded by Professor Jane Parpart? Will Yulia Rashkupina please come forward to be hooded by Professor Jane Parpart? Will Jason McSparron please come forward to be hooded by Professor Timothy Shaw? Will Bharathi Radhakrishnan please come forward to be hooded by Professor Courtney Sprague? Will Teresa Summers please come forward to be hooded by Professor Courtney Sprague? Will Robin Hannigan, Dean of the School for the Environment, please come forward as the 3 doctoral candidates in your college receive their degrees? Will Zhehai Sheng please come forward to be hooded by Professor Zhangping Li? Will Bonnie Blaylock please come forward to be hooded by Professor Helen Poynton? And will Kaylee Major please come forward to be hooded by Professor Helen Poynton? Would all doctoral candidates please stand?
Here comes the important part. This is the legal part, so listen up. By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of the University of Massachusetts, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Doctor of Nursing Practice, or Doctor of Education, as recommended by your faculty of the University of Massachusetts, Boston. In accordance with custom, you as individuals are entitled to all of the rights and privileges which pertain to this degree here and elsewhere. Congratulations to all of you.
Thank you, Chancellor Newman. Doctoral recipients, please be seated. Graduates and their families and friends, we will now begin the academic recession. Please remain in your seats until after the stage party, faculty, and graduates recess. You can meet your graduate outside the ballroom once the session is completed. There is a reception in the first floor atrium of the building adjacent to this, the University Hall. You can please follow the staff and the signage to the reception.
Would the stage party please rise and follow the Chancellor off the stage? Graduates, please rise and process down the center aisle. Family and friends, after the recession, please meet your graduate outside in University Hall for a reception. A joyous rest of the afternoon to you all. Congratulations one more time, class of 2019.